Hello anyone, everyone, and no one. My name is Slack Lizard, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can build an AFK lava farm so that you can collect all the fuel that you need for all of your smelting needs. Or, maybe you want to build a lava lake. This way, you don't have to go destroy one to make one. So let's get a materials list and let's get started with this tutorial. So to begin things off, we're going to start off about 10 blocks up in the air, and we're going to build a 15 by 18 platform up here in the sky. Now I'm going to use alternating concrete so that it's easier to explain things when it comes to redstone. So we start off, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And we need to now go 18 out that way. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And now we're going to fill all of this in. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back here to the corner which we started at, and we're going to place an observer down looking that way. From here, we're going to grab our redstone dust. We're going to put 1, 2, and we're going to come up to this green line here, but we're going to extend that out one additional block that way. From here, we're going to walk our redstone dust all the way over to the end, and we're going to come back and break this one and that one there. From here, we're going to put a redstone repeater there, and we're going to move that all the way up to the maximum delay in ticks. From here, we're going to have that going into a block, so when that gets a signal, it comes over here and powers this block, and in return, it's going to power this piston right here. AKA, we're going to be making a piston feed tape out of this. Now that we've got this one in, let's go ahead and grab another repeater. Let's put a repeater right here. Go ahead and slap that thing up to a 4-tick delay as well. Going into a block right there, and we're going to put a piece of redstone dust on top of that. Now, right beside this thing here, we're going to place down a temporary block right there, and then we're going to put a piston right there and remove our temporary block. So after this piston fires, the signal will go around to this piston here. From here, we're going to go ahead and walk our redstone all the way over to one block before this one right here. Then, of course, we're going to back up 2 blocks. We're going to knock that out. We're going to knock that out. We're going to put a repeater there, and we're going to max that thing out on its delay. We're going to go ahead and put down another building block, and then we're going to put another piston that way. So as you can see, our feed tape is going to go this way, come down this way, and then it's going to get pushed over to the side right here. From here, it's a pretty self-repeating pattern. We're going to go ahead and put down another repeater, going into another block right here with redstone dust on that. We're going to put a temporary block right there beside that. We're going to put a piston right there to connect that all up. And from here, we're going to walk across this green line all the way over to this side. And we're going to repeat the exact same thing that we had going on over here. So we're going to grab another repeater. We're going to put it up to maximum delay there. We're going to grab a building block of choice, put it there. We're going to put a piston right there. We're going to go ahead and grab our redstone dust, put it right there. Going into another repeater, up to a 4-tick delay. Into a block once again, going into redstone dust just like so. From here, temporary block, piston, boom, boom. Now we've pretty much got a self-repeating pattern that we need to continue all the way over until this line right here. The last 4 lines is going to be just a little bit different. So from here, continue this all the way up to there. Now, once we've made it all the way over to this point right here, we're going to do this last circuit just a little bit different. Instead of going with 1 piece of redstone dust, we're going to go with 2. We're going to take that into a repeater on a 4-tick delay. We're going to grab our building block of choice. We're going to put that right there, and then we're going to put a piston right there. So this one here is gapped out different than the others. And then we're going to grab redstone dust. We're going to take this all the way over to the end. We're going to go back 3 blocks here. On the second to last block here, we're going to put down our building block of choice. And then we're going to put a piston right there. We're going to grab a repeater. We're going to put a repeater going into that on a 4-tick delay. And now we're going to turn and do this side. Now, coming off of this block right here, we're going to put 7 redstone dust. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. We're going to put a repeater right there into a 4-tick delay, going into a solid block. At this point, we're going to put that going into a sticky piston, which in turn is going to go into a slime block right there. And then we're going to grab our redstone dust. We're going to take our redstone dust all the way up to 2 in front of our observer right here. We're going to go ahead and put down another repeater, and we're going to put that thing on a max delay as well. And then from here, we're going to grab and place down a temporary block right there, put another one right there. We're going to put a couple more behind this. We're going to knock out this second one here, and we're going to put a sticky piston in right there, which now should complete our circuit. So if we were now to power this block here, boop, boop, just like that, as you can see, we get a signal that walks all the way around this thing, all the way down, bringing down, and all the way back to the beginning. So our circuit for moving all of our cauldrons is now in place. Let's move on to the next step. Now our next step here is we're going to go ahead and come back to our observer section here, and we're going to place down one cauldron above that piece of redstone dust right there. From here, we're going to place down 2 blocks on top of that, and we're going to now place a temporary block right here and a piston right here. This now completes that circuit completely and allows for, when we have cauldrons in here, for them to be pushed around here. Now what we need to do is put in our area for our lava trenches and for our dripstone. I would advise at this point to go ahead and put in the lava trenches first, then put in the dripstone, and then put in the cauldrons. So what we're going to do is we're going to come right here on this one, and we're going to walk building blocks of choice all the way over to this piston over here. Once we reach this point, we're going to walk it over to this side, and then we're going to continue to walk our lava cauldron block all the way over, just like so, so that we're covering all this area up here. Just as you're doing this, make sure that you're staying over the trench line, just like so. So we get over here, then we walk this all the way over to this piston like that, and then we walk this all the way to the front and connect that all up. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and grab some glass. You can use whatever building block you want. We're going to grab some lime green glass here, and we're going to come out 1 block over on the side, and we're going to fill in all these gaps here so that our lava has a place to stay without running all over the farm. So temporary block there, remove that, fill this in all the way to there, run this all the way down to this side just like so, and just do this all over the farm. And once you have all of your containing blocks inside and on the outside, you should end up with something that looks just like this. Now from here, this is the point where we're going to go ahead and grab our lava, and we're going to fill in every source block along here with lava. And once you've got that all filled in, here you go. Things are moving along quite nicely. Now from this point, let's go ahead and grab our pointed dripstone, and we're going to go ahead and put pointed dripstone underneath every one of these building blocks that are holding our lava up above. And once that's in, it's time to move on to our next step. Now it's time to add all of our cauldrons in place here. So starting from our first cauldron here, we're going to go ahead and place cauldrons next to each of these all the way over to the point where we reach our piston. Now, we're not going to put one in front of this piston or in front of that piston. We are going to put one right there. So we have a gap there and we have a gap here. We're going to place down a temporary block right here. We're going to put another cauldron in here, and then we're going to continue to walk our cauldrons all the way across here to our next piston. Once again, once we reach our piston, we're not going to put a cauldron there. We are going to put one on the redstone up above that. Then, of course, on this side, a temporary block. put in a cauldron right there, and continue to walk cauldrons all the way across this side to our next piston. Once again, no cauldron there, cauldron above the redstone there. We're going to place down a temporary block right here. We're going to put in another cauldron there. And we're going to continue to do this all the way through the farm, stopping at every piston, avoiding the piston, getting the gap in between, and then putting one right there. So we're going to continue this over to here. Same thing. Skip. Cauldron there. Temporary block there. Cauldron. Break. And then continue to place more underneath all of our dripstone. Skip the piston. One there. Skip the piston here. Put a temporary block there. Cauldron right there. Break the temporary block. All the way over to our piston. Once again, skip our piston. We're going to need a temporary block right here to place that one. Ignoring the piston right here. Moving one in front of it. Putting a cauldron right there. Boom. Walking these all the way over to this piston here. Once again, skip the piston. Place down our cauldron there and walk this all the way up to the slime block this time. This one's the exception and a little bit different. So once we reach that, we're going to skip one right here. We're going to put down a temporary block right there, place in our cauldron there, and then we're going to walk cauldrons all the way back up to our first cauldron that we placed in this farm. And now that we have everything in place here, we're going to knock out one of these cauldrons temporarily just to show you this thing in action here. So if we place down a solid block right there and we actually turn this farm on by turning that piston on, as you can see, everything in here is going to cycle around and boom, just like so, everything is going to slowly piston feed tape its way around. So as it gets back over here, you can see our concrete block is now moving, which can be replaced with a cauldron. That was just for demonstrational purposes to show you that everything is moving. Now it's time to move on to our collection part of this system. Now you can go anywhere that you want underneath of this thing to do this, but we're just going to choose right roughly in the middle right here, and we're going to knock out that block right there so that when we come down here underneath, we can see directly up to that cauldron. From here, we're going to come down 2 blocks underneath of this and take it down to a third, and we're going to build ourselves a 3x3 platform right here. This is where we're going to be standing. This is where we're going to be collecting up all of our lava. So at this point, let's go ahead and put a button there just in case any accidents were to happen. Lava will not come down this way. From here, we're going to punch out our center block here, and we're going to go down underneath of here for our collection. We're going to place down here a double chest directly down below. You could have this run into a shulker loader if you like. You're going to need an extensive collection system because lava buckets do not stack. So from here, we're going to put hopper on top of that. We're going to go back. We're going to put a double chest right there. We're going to go into another hopper. Of course, you're going to need to extend this to make this as big as a collection system as you need. This is just rudimentary, just to show you how it works. From here, we're going to put a rail right there. We're going to grab a minecart hopper, and we're going to place that directly right there on top of that rail, and then we're going to target our rail, and we're going to break our rail. At this point, we could go ahead and place this back up here, and now anything that ends up inside of here will end up into our collection chest down below. Now from here, we're going to need a way to detect when we have an item, a lava bucket going through the system so that it can give us out a new bucket. What we're going to do is we're going to place a 2x2 set of blocks right here, and we're going to take a comparator and we're going to put a comparator right here reading out of that hopper there. So anytime something goes through this hopper, it's going to send a signal out to that comparator, just like so. From here, we're going to take that into a solid block. Then we're going to take that into a redstone dust, which in turn is going to go into a repeater, which is going to go into a solid block, which we're going to put a dropper on top of, just like so. So if we were to put buckets inside of this, anytime something now passes through this, it's going to dispense us out a bucket. So from here, we need to add in our bucket storage. Now you can run this out however you want to. What we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of hoppers and go just like so. Then we're going to take a couple more hoppers and go just like so right here. so that we have two separate inputs feeding into this. And if you want to, additionally, you can do this on this side as well. So we'll put a couple hoppers leading just like that. That hopper leading into that one leading into that one. So from here, we can grab some double chests. And if we put a double chest there, a double chest there, and now after throwing some buckets into our system, you can see that our dropper is primed and ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a solid block and we're going to put that right there. And from here, we need to put our on and off switch for this farm. So we're going to go ahead and place in 2 blocks there, 2 blocks there. We're going to grab a tripwire hook and we're going to put one there, and we're going to put a piece of string connecting all of that up so that when you walk over this, it in turn is going to power the circuit that we're going to put in here on the side to turn the farm on and off. So we're going to run a line directly over to this sticky piston right here. And what we want to do is put a sticky piston right there, a redstone block on top of that, and then we want to connect this all up with redstone dust. So now, how do we get to collection? Well, that's relatively simple. At this point, we're going to clear out our inventory. Boop, get rid of everything from our inventory. And what we need to do is grab something to fill all the slots of our inventory up except for one. So we do just like so. We've got every slot in our inventory and now filled up. And what we need is some buckets. So if we grab, just say 8 buckets here, this farm is just about complete. We got our buckets, we got our on and off switch, we got our tripwire, we've got our lava in. What we need to do now is place 3 more blocks right there. Now, of course, you could go ahead and do this just like so that you could have a entryway into this place. But this, right beside this dispenser or dropper, is needed. If you do not have that there, it's going to kick the bucket down into the ground. So now if we were to go into survival, we have 8 buckets on us. Our inventory is completely full. And if we walk over this tripwire, the farm is going to activate. And all we do now is just sit here and hold right click. And anytime that we get a cauldron that comes over with lava, as the next one here will demonstrate, we will harvest up the lava. The bucket will fall down, we will get dispensed out, or rather dropped out, a new bucket, and we can sit here and AFK to our heart's content. It may not be the fastest farm in the world, but it is a free fuel farm, and all you have to do is now AFK. As you can see, there's another one. Boom, bam, that simple, that easy. And that right there more or less wraps up our tutorial. Now, if you're interested in getting a shulker box loader for all of your lava storage needs, then there will be a link down in the video's description to that. But that being that, that's where we're calling this one the tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, make sure to drop a like. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing, and we'll see all of you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.